right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the X-Men New Mutants. So I don't know if you heard the news about it. They pushed it back 10 months.
Yep.
Oh, wow. They've been showing trailers. I mean, what, they didn't...
Apparently, so they tested it with audiences, and it tested really well, but people wanted it to be scarier.
Oh.
So Fox said, you know what? Let's pull it back. And they're refilming a bunch of scenes to take them up to the next level.
Well, that's good, I guess.
So then are you going to try for like an October?
Yeah, maybe? So that's what they're pushing back to. Actually, it was supposed to come out April 13th. They're pushing it all the way till February of 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's for the positive. I mean, if it got good reviews already,
right?
But people wanted to be.
I guess part of it was, they're advertising it as scary,
right?
And then people were watching it saying it was good, but it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
Right.
So Fox said, "All right,
so they're anticipating it
Sweet.
being a little scary."
On that same note, a side note of that, because last time we talked about that, we also talked about Deadpool being switched.
Got moved
have
up.
you guys seen the new trailer?
Trailer's fantastic.
Oh my god. I love it.
I love how he makes the comment about the green arm. He's like, it's supposed to be metal arm. It's not like we're trying to hide a mustache, which was the whole thing that DC did with hiding Superman's mustache for the refilm scenes they did.
It
was hilarious.
I mean, the comedy of that, then just the footage that they shown, the actual like movie footage looked great.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Cable.
Yeah.
And hopefully they do it right. It looks like they're going to do them right.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, they just kind of gave little snippets here and there. Like it was just kind of like pop, pop, pop.
Yep.
You didn't get any one good look at any scene in particular, but
yeah. But they did it also. I don't know if you saw it. They have a sneak peek. Sony released a sneak peek trailer yesterday for Venom.
Oh, I did. I didn't see that, but I saw a teaser trailer like 2 weeks ago that maybe it's not the same thing.
Did they show like the Venom goo inside of a container?
They did.
All right, so it might have been the same.
You never actually saw Venom per se.
No.
And you saw, what's his name?
Yeah.
The guy from Taboo. Crap. What's his name? The British guy.
Totally drawing a fart. Blank. Got a brain fart. Look at that Muslim dude that was in
Hardy.
The Night Of.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, so Tom Hardy.
They showed him like in his car, like driving, but they didn't show him.
Oh, but they didn't. But this one they showed him in like a PET scanner.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I
he
didn't
was in
see
like
that.
a PET scan, and then they showed him like starting to merge, with Venom or whatever, and his neck started to turn black. And then
I didn't see that one. I will have to check it out.
And then they show that what's his name, Aziz Ari, the guy that was in The Night Before. He's the bad guy in the movie, so they showed him with the containers with the symbiotes in it.
Oh, nice!
So it's going to be really cool.
Well, yeah, because I heard that Carnage just makes an appearance.
I didn't hear Carnage, but I know the other 4. So it's Agony, and then there's like 3 others. There's 2 girls and 2 boys.
Yeah, I think I remember a rumor that Carnage makes. Maybe it's like towards the end or something.
Yeah,
but I think I do remember.
The thing is, if they put Carnage in this movie, I'll be very upset because they're not going to. There's no way that they can make this Planet of Symbiotes episode like kind of movie. So it's kind of like that anti-hero, what's it called? The Venom like anti-hero where he goes into San Francisco to stay with Spider-Man says, get lost. And then they're merging it kind of with Planet of Symbiotes where like the 5 come down. Mm-hmm. They're kind of merging their storylines. So if they put Carnage in there too, I'll be upset.
Too many storylines?
Yeah. Because Carnage he's a character that needs like his
right. So maybe what they do is introduce him right at the end, kind of, or like a post.
Like if they kick it off for like that's going to be the next movie.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Like during the credits, like they throw that at the end, like they show like that could be.
Yeah, because I was showing my son pictures of Carnage because I have in my comic book collection the only Spider-Man comics I collected and kept for whatever reason were the collectible hardcovers and the glossy metallic covers that they had. They had like foil covers.
Yeah, I had the first Venom with the glossy.
That's what I have
cover.
too. Yeah, I have the first Venom and I have the first Carnage and then I have the first issue of Maximum Carnage that have like all. And I was showing my son like Carnage was like the best because he was a crazy guy.
Yeah.
And
he's a lunatic.
Like the way they drew him, like his claws, and he would like make weapons to kill people out of his, out of the symbiote. I said he was way more vicious than Venom ever was.
Right.
So if they make a movie with him, I think they can't mix him in with Venom and all the other crap. They really got to focus on
Yeah,
Carnage.
that happens a lot when they start introducing too many villains in a movie. That Spider-Man, when they introduced Venom the first time, was just ugh.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
Topher Grace's Venom.
Actually, I read a really great article when they were getting ready to film that movie. They did a couple camera tests with a different Venom suit. And they said it looked too much like an S&M suit. So they said it was no good for a kid's movie. Because the first Spider-Man movies are more kids-focused.
The Gimp.
Yeah, so they decided, you know what, we're not doing that. We're going to do a Spider-Man-looking outfit with the, whatever, the liquid part of it, which was so crappy. It would have been so much better if they did, because Venom is like his skin.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like just this glossy black with the white spider across the front, and that's it.
Yeah.
And when they tested it, they were like, man, it looks like a latex S&M suit. So they decided to bail.
Like
on
from the first American Horror Story.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one.
That's up there. It's
Still
one of my favorites.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So the other thing, Ash vs. Evil Dead, Season 3,
Comes out
February 25th.
25th. They've been putting like trailers on.
Constant advertisements for it now. And they're doing the press junkets.
Yeah.
So I've seen a couple interviews and stuff, so it looks like it's going to be pretty good, and this will probably be the final season.
Yeah, I
which,
heard that too. Looks like he's got a daughter in this one. Is that what I?
Yes.
That's what it shows. But I think they show like she gets killed or something. I don't know. She probably gets possessed or something, or who knows.
Well, with knowing his luck,
Yeah.
probably
But I'm really looking forward to that because the
Yeah.
first 2 seasons were really
they were. But I think it might be a good thing if they do this season and then stop because
it's beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You got to get to a point where, and I think the whole goal, right, was Sam Raimi said we don't want to do. They were looking at Evil Dead 4, to be after Army of Darkness, and they were like, a movie 2 hours, we could do a TV series and make like 30 hours of story. So this is more or less Evil Dead 4, which is a nice way to kind of wrap up the whole story.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad. And then I think what we should talk about next is the movie we watched. Zombies.
So yeah, I had a couple of years ago on a Saturday night, I was trying to find something different to watch. I like zombies. I like funny zombie movies, and I happened by it, and I was like, let me check out the trailer for this. And I saw the trailer. I was like, all right, why not? so I watched it, and then I when I saw it, I was like, you guys would probably dig it.
It's a kind of a very B movie quality, kind of corny.
Yeah.
Very low special effects, but still the story was pretty interesting. It was an interesting twist on zombies.
Yeah,
for
it was a
sure.
good concept, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't realize that they were zombies.
Yeah, and some of the humor was really pretty good.
It was that the guy who was like the, I guess the not the main guy, but the best friend. He had a lot of good like one-liners, and when he started feeling those zombie urges, when
the guy was eating the brains, like when they first had killed someone in the bar, and then they were like arguing about what to do, and he's like, "Wait, are you eating brains?" He's like, "They're pretty good."
Yeah, and then he makes the brains smoothie. Yeah, it was, and I liked the, and it didn't work every time where they did the black and white to color depending on which point of view you were seeing the movie through.
Yeah,
there was a couple times that I noticed upon like the second time I watched it where it got kind of hard to try to flip them back and forth.
Yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job. Like again, it was a good concept.
It was a very interesting twist. How the zombies saw everyone moving very fast.
Thought they were they were like something wrong with them.
Yeah. And I was looking, and after I got home that night after watching that, I looked it up online. So Rotten Tomatoes only gave it like a 55%.
Really?
Yeah, and it came out in 2007. They said it was
sure.
Yeah, they said the movie quality was too crappy, and it was the guy's first movie. Whoever made it, it was their first movie.
You could kind of tell. I mean, for a B movie, I liked it.
Like I said, the storyline was very interesting, and I would definitely tell my friends that are into these types of horror movies it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, right.
Because there was a very interesting twist on zombies, and the comedy was pretty good. Some of it was a little corny, but it was pretty good. Especially, the guy who pretended to be the soldier. And the whole time I'm thinking he really is like a soldier.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
eventually you find out he's just a janitor.
I think one of my favorite parts is where they show him like trying to be like quiet and stealth mode, and like he's like doing all these like moves and stuff, and then they flash him doing it like as a zombie,
And he's just like,
Well, those
out
were
in the
those.
open.
Yeah, those were my favorite parts of the movie
Yeah.
when they switched over and showed them.
or yeah,
how
when,
they really
when
looked.
he was walking out to meet up with the to spy on the colonel and the doctor at the Mexican food restaurant. He put on the sombrero, and then all of a sudden he walks out there, and there he's a zombie.
And it's just like, or the scene where the guy and the girl. So there's this couple that they're kind of like this corny little innocent couple, and that scene where they were like making out in the middle of the restaurant, and they're like making out really passionately, and then they cut to them in color as the zombies, and they're just like, and they got their faces rubbing their
licking
faces
each
on
other's
other.
cheeks.
Yeah,
instead.
it was so funny the way they
Yeah,
did
no,
it.
actually, there's the couple of the bowling guys that were watching them got like grossed out by it. I think my other favorite part too is like when they finally like have sex, like because they're both virgins, and they're like,
Oh yeah.
they come back from having sex for the first time, and his buddies ask him about it, and he's like, so it happened to you too? He's like, yeah, it happens to everybody. He's like, it falls off.
Is what? Yeah.
And then the girl's off in the corner telling her friend about it, and her friend's like, repulsed because they still don't know they're zombies yet.
Yeah.
So she, like imagine that, like.
Well, and the whole bowling scene, the other twist that they put into the story that I thought was very, very kind of clever was if you're drunk, the zombies seem like normal people too.
Yeah.
Like it slows down your brainwaves enough so that the zombies can understand you and you can understand the zombies.
Yeah. No. Whoever did the screenplay, I mean,
Yeah.
they could really, I think, do something great.
Yeah, and then towards the end, it became like an inspirational movie. Like they convinced these other people that they were outcasts, but they were normal people too, and they were gonna go find this plot of land and live as happy zombie.
Like the end of Red Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they showed him there at the end of the movie, like sweeping dirt and sitting in a rocking chair, and yeah, like I say, it was corny, and there was
It
some
was very unique.
It was different.
What when I was thinking about just sort of, I don't know why it popped into my head, but I thought it would kind of be neat if they sort of made it set back in the 50s. Like it made me, the bowling alley made me think of that, but I could see it being, back in the 50s and sort of do the same movie.
It's very much if you think about all the concepts in the movie, it's like he pulled concepts from a bunch of different movies,
Yeah.
right? Because
Like-
the color in black and white back and forth,
That sort of 50s
that was
flavor,
that there was
right?
like that 50s movie. Do you remember that movie that came out in the early 2000s that had
Was it Rumble?
the guy that played Spider-Man?
Oh.
Who was the original Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire. He was in a movie where he was like a kid and his sister, and they woke up back in the 50s, and like slowly it started to turn
yeah.
into color. Like
Yes.
I do remember that. I don't
it
remember
was
what
kind of
called,
weird, but like
yeah.
they were moving into the future, and as they were, like different elements would start to change color, become colorful.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So it's kind of like a mix of that, a mix of like what was that? I can't remember the name of that zombie movie that was a lot like that with the restaurant and the teenage kids. I think they're all like that, but
yeah.
he just kind of like pulled some elements from a bunch of different movies, a bunch of different genres, and kind of made this very unique picture that was entertaining,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I liked it.
Yeah, with the budget, like I said, it had a lot of potential with the writing and
Yeah.
the acting.
Yeah.
Was, but
Yeah, and there was one. I can't remember what his name was, but there was one recognizable actor in it. The guy who played the colonel or the general. He's been in things.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know.
And I think they actually in the credits at the beginning of the movie say like and featuring what his name is. And I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, you recognize him from stuff.
was it that scruffy looking dude? He was in a lot of B horror movies too, and I can't remember one of them. But he was that real scruffy, sort of balding, long hairish looking dude.
But it was the same. It was along the same lines of like Zombievers.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
Zombievers. Zombies. Have you seen Zombies?
Zombies. Yeah, it's funny. Here's the thing. So, after I came home and I looked that movie up, I saw that Rotten Tomatoes viewers gave it a 55%, and the critics gave it like 30%. IMDb viewers gave it 5 out of 10.
Okay. That's usually my cutoff is a 5. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, for what it
5 and
was,
higher.
that's not bad.
No.
Considering that they had no budget, no big name actors, no, it was. I liked it.
Yeah. So the one guy who was very old in this movie, Tracy Walter. That's the guy that has the longer, thinning hair, kind of balding.
Yes, that's the guy I was talking about. I've seen him in tons of movies.
Yeah, this guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
correct.
the drunk.
Yeah. So he's the guy. He's like in Conan. He was Conan's sidekick. You remember?
That's
that?
right. That's probably where I remember him most. Yeah.
I think he was also says he was also in I Spit on Your Grave. Another classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other guy, the army general, was Richard Raley, and he was in Office Space, Fugitive,
Yeah.
Free Willy,
Yeah.
Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, he's been in a lot.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. He's kind of a character actor.
They probably broke the budget bringing him on board.
Well, between him and that other guy, 2 professional actors. Yeah, I believe that to be the case. So sticking with the zombie theme, I want us to come up with our top 5 zombie movies.
Okay.
And I will start because I already got my list put together.
Do they have to be numbered in order or no?
Preferably
Okay.
the ones you think are, you could kind of say, well, 4 and 5 are tie, but, just kind of give them in your very... So I'm going to tell you, my favorite zombie movie of all time was the start of it all, Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
Right?
That was good.
1968, the whole beginning of the zombie genre.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like breaking ground, creating the very first idea of zombies, the very first theme of it, and created on a crappy low budget, but still a fantastic movie even to watch now. And I prefer the black and white over the color version.
Yeah.
After they colorized it, I don't like it. I like the black and white. My number 2 is Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Return of the Living Dead was a very, and I think a lot of it is nostalgia. So 1985, when that movie came out, I was young and like in junior high school or something, and I remember just being scared out of my mind.
Yeah.
It was the scariest thing I saw at that point.
It was.
The things that were so disturbing to me was the warehouse scenes. The guy in the plastic bag
The spine.
yeah.
with the hook in his head, and he's like kicking, and you hear this noise, and they open
or-
the door, and he's like in the bag kicking.
the half dog on the
The
plaque,
half
too.
dog,
That was
yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, I mean there were some really, and the other thing that just gave me nightmares was when the canister opened in the basement and that black kind of melted.
Yeah, he was like oozy
Yeah.
and like walking.
It was
like
pretty messed up.
Yeah.
To me, that's my number 2, and only because, the number 1, Night of the Living Dead, because that started it all, and then Return of the Living Dead because it kind of picked up and took what was Night of the Living Dead and made it that much more scary.
That's probably on in my top 5.
And in it, there were a lot of campiness, a lot of comedy, a
Some
lot
boobs.
of terrifying moments. Boobs are always sold movies in
Yeah.
the 80s. So
Yep.
here it is, 1985. You had to have the naked punk girl.
Yeah.
All those scenes. And then the end was even disgusting, too, when they finally pulled in that skeleton who was like oozing stuff out of its spinal cord, and they're talking to it like about brains. It was just, yeah.
brains.
Yeah, it was like,
It was like an old lady or something, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Like,
with like long blonde
yeah,
hair.
she was like twisting
Yeah.
like her little spinal cord.
Yeah, they're
was,
saying
like,
brains because it makes the pain of rotting go away. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the? That was crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It had a whole lot of stuff. Like there was some really creepy, scary stuff.
And
there's some funny stuff.
Think of this too. That was an impression on me as a child. I'm growing up, in the Philadelphia suburb area, right? Here we are, the Poconos, Lehigh Valley, Acme stores.
Yeah.
And that old dude was the spokesperson on all the Acme commercials. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm seeing the dude from the Acme commercials in a zombie movie, and it freaked me out.
Yeah.
My third is Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead, I love that movie. The whole theme of it.
The original, not the remake.
Yeah, not the remake,
No.
the original. To the point where my friends and I would like watch it repeatedly because we love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea, the way they changed the whole zombie thing, and that one kind of, number 3 for me. Number 4, Zombieland.
Oh, that's on my list as well.
Zombieland, because again, it was a new twist on the whole zombie genre. Right? Because now you have, and it's not the first movie to do it, but it's the movie that, to me, kind of did it right. The running zombies, right? Zombies moving quickly.
Right.
This is not the first movie to do it, but the way they did it, to me, I liked better.
Mm-hmm.
And it had some great comedy in it.
A lot of good comedy.
Great comedy, and the whole idea of, almost like Walking Dead. The world is in ruins. There's a small groups of people showing up, and individuals here and there, and they get together to form a small group. I love that story.
Right, and you don't know if you can trust those people. I mean, that's the other thing. So besides having to, worry about the zombies, you got to worry about regular people too, because people when they're on a regular day can be an asshole.
Yeah.
Now you're like having to like fight over like supplies.
And if you think about most of these zombie movies, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Dead, all the survivors are buddy-buddy, right? They may fight a little bit, but nobody's like ready to kill someone the minute they meet them.
Right.
So this was a better twist on that. Kind of a little more reality to it, but there were some great funny parts like searching for Twinkies and the
rules.
Yeah, the rules.
I like the rules. That was one of my favorite parts.
Or
of
when
that.
Woody Harrelson's talking about his puppy, and it turns out to be his child, at the end. So,
or the Bill Murray
the Bill Murray scene
cameo
was
was great.
And then my number 5, again sticking with the mix of comedy and horror, Shaun of the Dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
another good
I
one.
forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Shaun of the Dead is again number 5 for me because it was like a whole nother twist on zombie movies, because now you have the guy that's kind of just a slacker, kind of just drifting through life, doesn't commit to his girlfriend, she's upset with him, and then he's like just wandering through life not paying attention, and suddenly there's like zombies in his world, and in the beginning how he's not paying attention at all. And I think one of the funniest parts is when him and his buddy leave the bar at night, and the zombies like moaning coming down the street, and he does that digga 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 digga, and then I go digga digga digga, and I point at him and he goes "Arr." I was like, that is just comedy gold. That whole movie was fantastic. So that's my top 5.
You have any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions, let me throw some at you. Dead Alive,
Oh yeah.
because it was so gory. There's a scene in it that will never escape my mind, and I'm sure you remember
I
too.
don't know if I know that one.
Dead Alive was Peter Jackson's first movie.
Oh, you have to see it if you haven't seen
It
it.
was the first movie Peter Jackson ever made. He was just out of high school when he made it. There's a scene in there where the zombies are coming into the house. He picks up a lawnmower, turns it on, and just walks through the crowd.
Nice.
And just like stuff is flying
Yeah, I
everywhere.
want to say that was like
I don't
filmed in
think
New
I've seen
Zealand
that.
or Australia.
Yeah,
or
it was an
something.
Australian
Yeah,
movie.
Australian
I don't
movie,
think
yeah.
I've seen that
Well,
one.
you have
Peter
to.
Jackson's very first movie. You got to see it. And to the point where it's been reissued a couple times. They have like the collector's edition
Really?
with
You
extra cuts
Definitely-
in
You
it.
definitely have
Can't
to
believe I
see
haven't
Yeah,
seen it.
it's a fantastic movie. That came out in 1992.
Huh.
I was a senior in high school, and I remember watching it with my friends going, this is a crazy movie. I can't, and it was one of those direct video type movies,
It was almost sort of like Evil Dead with the zombies.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
there was a funny twist in it.
Yep.
There was some gross stuff in it, like zombies having sex was really fucked up. It was like the craziest thing. It was a great movie.
Well,
though.
you got to figure, because in most zombie movies, or when you think about zombie physiology,
Yeah.
it's the reptilian part of the brain that still functions. Everything
Right.
else
So
is
sex
gone.
would be part of
So
the whole
sex
thing.
would be part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're,
Well-
they're looking to eat and
Eat. It's eating, fucking, and shitting.
yeah.
But they never show a zombie shitting. And that's always the question is, if a zombie eats that much, what does it do with all its eating?
That's true. That's a good point.
So then another honorable mention, Zombie, 1971, the Italian flick with the zombie. Do you remember you had to have seen this, the zombie shark? Classic scene in that movie.
Don't know that one either.
Yeah, Zombie. It's Italian film, 1971. Very good. Reanimator, 1985.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
guess
good
you
one.
Technically
consider
a
that-
zombie movie.
okay.
It's very good. Planet Terror, 2003. It was
Yep.
part of the.
Yeah.
That was a
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse,
Yeah.
one of the Grindhouse films.
Yep.
Another great movie. Technically a zombie movie.
Yeah.
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 Very good. The cinematography of that was really good, and the little campiness of the machine gun leg and
Yeah.
all those scenes. It was really really good. But honorable mention. And another one that I have on my list is Night of the Creeps, 1986. Technically a zombie
I
film.
don't think I know that one either.
Yeah, another great movie.
Wow.
Definitely one worth watching.
Yeah.
All right.
Chris,
Who's next?
Yeah, I just
do you need more time?
no, I'm good. I forgot my homework, so I'm just gonna pop these out.
Night Living Dead.
We're gonna go in. Yeah. So you touched on a couple of mine. I'll throw them in there when I. So my number one of all time, and it's I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it's because it's it kind of reminds me like of a Finnish version of Evil Dead, but with zombies and Nazis. Dead Snow.
Dead
Oh,
Snow.
okay.
I was going to put that in my honorable
I
mention.
really love
Calling
Dead
that
Snow.
number one,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's my number one is Dead
which
Snow.
is fine. That's
And
actually
and
It's a
the
great movie.
The sequel was actually pretty good too.
Yes,
D-
it was. Yes.
Dead versus Red or Red versus Dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they're both on Netflix right now.
it was a really good movie, and there was a lot that went on in there. It was funny. It was so much gore that was over the top, like, and there was some gross stuff, like when that kid's in the outhouse taking a dump, and then the chick comes in and starts sucking on his hand, like after he just got done wiping. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happened to that.
There's some gross crap in that movie.
And it had a good story. Like, it was a pretty good. It was a
great
good
movie.
story.
Yeah.
So next for me would be Return of the Living Dead. We talked about that one. It was probably my very first like actual horror movie, other than the creature features on Saturdays, which Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Wolfman, and that. Mm-hmm. My very first one would have been Nightmare on Elm Street. So my very first like zombie film was Return of the Living Dead, and I was probably 12, 13 years old. Maybe.
Do you remember where you watched it? I remember the first time I watched it was on HBO. It was on HBO.
You know what? I want to say that my brother borrowed a videotape from a friend, and we watched it one night, like when my parents were like either out or something. Like,
That makes it even more frightening at that age.
and I was creeped out, like really, like and to see the two guys, the old guy and the young kid, kind of like become zombies and get like sick and
I'm so cold.
yeah. And then all of a sudden he changes and he wants to like eat his girlfriend,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
which I mean, he's probably eaten her before, but not
Not
for
in this
sustenance.
way.
Yeah. So that would be number 2 for me. Number 3, I read the book and it was a fantastic book, and the movie really was just a microcosm of the book, World War Z. I just thought the way they did zombies in it, like when you watch the movie and they start the movie off showing those African hunting ants,
Yeah.
and how they can form bridges on top of each other, and the zombie, like I've seen a lot of horror movies and a lot of like zombie movies, and there was a lot of like intense moments in this movie because it was like just constantly like they were like teaming up together, kind of. But
Yeah.
I liked that one. I don't think it did well in the theater. And again, it wasn't a lot like the book.
Yeah. I liked the book. I wasn't a big fan.
I think
of the
it was
movie.
like
I fell asleep.
like it was like a
Sal can,
like a specific part of the book, because the book took place throughout the globe.
Right.
And this was just one location.
Yeah.
I liked it. Then Shaun of the Dead would be what was that, number 4 for me. That was also I for some reason I seem to like it when you can blend comedy and horror well together, where I can kind of be horrified at some things and then also laugh. And then also Zombieland would be my 5th one. And they are making a sequel to that, right? Or
Man, they've been talking about it for
It's been in the works.
Yeah. At this point, all of those actors and actresses are they're too old. to
Yeah,
really play
it's
the
true.
part.
I mean, they could probably still have Woody Harrelson, like,
Yeah.
because he's nondescript.
There's been a couple rumors of script rewrites, and then all kinds of it's on again, it's off again. As far as I know, it's been shelved, and they've been talking about making it into a miniseries.
Oh, that would be a good idea. I mean, look at how good Ash versus Evil Dead is done.
It could be. It could be. It's the same writer of the original movie that wants to do the miniseries. So,
that'd be all right.
we'll see how that works out. But
I would be all right with that.
Yeah, I think they lost. They missed the boat on the momentum, right? Because Zombieland was really popular when it came out. It was a great movie, and if they would have just cranked out a second one within 2 years, it would have been on that momentum.
And it was unique.
Yeah, and it probably would have made enough money.
You're
because
right.
It was a great movie.
True.
But they missed the boat there. I don't know why or what happened, but yeah.
And I want to throw an honorable mention in there. And this is it's not a movie, but video games have gotten to the point where it's kind of like movies. Left 4 Dead is a great when remember when Resident Evil first came out and it just like kind of like set the stage for like horror genre video games.
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead was like a great and it was the way they did each level was like a movie. Like each one of them like started off with like a movie poster, and you were like the stars of the movie, and each one took place in kind of like a setting of typical zombie movies. And like with Resident Evil, there were scenes like in this game where like my heart was pounding, like when with the witch, like when you hear her crying in the distance. You're like, oh shit, she's around somewhere, and somebody always stumbles upon her, and then the next thing you know, she's all up on you, like clawing at you and stuff. So that's honorable mention for me.
I agree. Left 4 Dead set the bar for zombie survival horror.
Yeah,
Definitely
talk about horror video games too.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I didn't know we were going to do that, so I threw that in there.
No, that's good though.
Because again, it's like movies. Like when you watch each different scenario, they play it as if it's a movie.
And it's basically that movie has that game has a very well written script or story to it.
Right.
Yeah. Excellent.
So that's it for me.
Yeah. Okay. Mine's similar to Sal's with number 1 going Night of the Living Dead. Loved that movie when I was a kid. I like the fact that it's Pennsylvania makeup. I like the story.
Mm-hmm. It was a good story.
You had your African American sort of lead
right
in that movie. A lot of people don't think about that.
I mean that was controversial at the time.
Yep, no doubt.
So that was my number 1, Return of the Living Dead. Number 2 for me. I did see that in the movie theater.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
I wouldn't have even known it was in the theater. I mean, I guess
when I was a kid, I used to go to rated R movies when I was 12 years old. They didn't care back then. They never carded or.
Yeah, I never did, and everything for me was VHS. When VHS systems became very popular, I got to see like everything. And in fact, I think for years I'd never even went to a theater.
Yeah, so no, that was great theater experience for me to see that movie in the movie theater.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What stands out about that movie's special effects to me, I've just seen some of those.
Yeah, at the time,
at the time, I was like, wow, this is like mind blowing. The spine moving, and I was like, that's just completely awesome.
And the crazy thing is, 1985, that were all practical effects.
Yeah, they didn't have CGI
no
back
CGI
then.
stuff. Yeah. So I said that was just mind blowing with the effects that movie for me. Number 3, I was going to go Zombieland. I'm going to go Zombieland for number 3.
Again, fantastic movie.
Yeah, we've talked about.
That's good. We all had that on our top 5. It was that good of a movie.
Yeah.
Number 4, nobody mentioned for me, is going to be The Girl with All the Gifts. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I've never even heard of that.
I do not know that one.
Okay, so put that one on your to watch. I won't spoil anything, but a really good zombie movie.
The Girl with All the Gifts. Is it newer?
Yeah, it's newer. And another newer one, which is my number 5, is Maggie, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Man,
it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. Really, it's almost a drama, but Arnold does like some really good act. It sounds crazy, but he does some good acting in it. It's got a really nice story to it too. It's Maggie. Not spoiling too much, but it's his daughter.
Dude, the girl with all the gifts looks scary.
Is that on Netflix?
Glenn
or
Close is in it.
Yep.
Netflix?
I'm
Amazon?
not sure. I actually downloaded those two movies.
That came
when I
out
saw 'em.
in 2017.
Yep.
Glenn Close, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
See? Just
Wow.
ask Craig. I finished. Maggie was number 5.
Yeah.
With Arnold. You guys don't know what's the Rotten Tomatoes on Maggie? Because like I said, Arnold. It was when he was sort of a douchebag, when he sort of was being a knucklehead. But I was like, he's sort of scummy what he did, and whatnot. But the movie came out, I was like, I'll watch it, and I really
59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
okay, not as good as
Yeah.
Girl with All the Gifts, but I thought it was good.
Wow, that one looks pretty nasty too.
And I'm gonna go honorable mentions, and I hope you guys saw this. It's Chris, right up your alley. It's a comedy, sort of. It's called Cooties.
Oh yeah, Cooties was fantastic.
That's my honorable
I
mention.
think I did. Oh, I just thought of another one that that reminded me. The Crazies was a.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was good.
Yeah,
That was real good.
That kind of like just sneaks up on you. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah, that's the one in the barn.
yeah. They're just all hanging out at the local like high school baseball game, and a
Yep.
dude like walks out in the middle of the field.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good honorable mention.
I forgot about that one.
yeah.
But Cooties was
Cooties
good.
was unique. Cooties was unique because it was a zombie disease that only affected children.
Yes.
It was really intense.
Yep.
And there were some really disgusting parts in that movie. I remember watching it with my kids, and they were like, what the hell are we watching?
Put those two on. Put
Yeah, I
Maggie
did.
and
Yep.
the Girl with All the Gifts on your guys' to watch lists.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. I have to see if it's available on Netflix. I didn't see it on the list.
You can put the list up on the website.
Yep, this list is going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
on the website too. Yep.
That'll help me since I forgot my notebook.
Wow. Wow, we have a great list of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm glad we have a little bit of different stuff on everybody's list too.
Yeah.
Glad we didn't pick. Although number 1 and number 2 is pretty solid, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we all picked Return
For good
as
reason.
number 2.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do, like even my kids and I watched it again, and I realized that, some of that was nostalgia with
Yeah.
the fact that where we were when we watched the movie,
Yeah.
how old we were, whatever was going on in the world in the 80s when we were watching it, it made an impact on us and made it that much more memorable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, fantastic. So there's a couple horror movies coming out, and a couple that we should start thinking about perhaps watching. Like, I don't know if you heard of this one. I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. It's on Netflix. It came out in 2006.
I think
2016. I'm sorry.
No,
I
haven't
think
seen
I went by that when I was scrolling through.
Yeah, I was
movies.
scrolling through on Netflix,
Yeah.
and it just popped up and had like
it.
a little trailer.
Yeah, I did see
And I'm
the
like,
trailer.
oh, that looks pretty good. I did look it up, and it didn't get good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
No,
38%.
Yeah, and I just added one on Netflix today. Under the Shadows. Maybe it's a foreign. I want to say it's French or Indian, but that got I want to say Sundance. Some good awards there. So I added
Wow.
that one. That one's on Netflix too. I think
All
it's
right.
called Under the Shadows.
I'm gonna have to add that to my list then too. We'll put that up on the website also.
And there was news on the one with Keep Quiet.
Yeah, what
Yes.
about it?
I think they bumped that one too, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
The Quiet Place.
Yeah,
Did they show a commercial for that during the Super Bowl?
they did.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say,
I
think
missed it.
I think I remember seeing that. I was like, hey, we were just talking about this. I watched Kim and I watched Lights Out over the weekend.
Oh, that's good. It got a little disturbing at the end of that, didn't it?
The only thing I liked it, and it was creepy up until I found out like who she was really. And then I
Or
was
no,
like,
I was thinking of the other. Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe. Yeah, Lights Out
That got weird at the end. Don't Breathe.
yeah, Lights Out was kind of good up until you find out it was like the mom's like.
I like the creepiness
Friend.
effect when you turn the lights on and off.
That
and we
was
get
creepy,
closer
but then
and-
as the story, like once you found out like who she was, like I don't know. I was
no,
like,
I know. I'm
so
with
what
you.
is she, like the spirit of this little
Yeah,
girl?
no, I'm with you.
Like-
The ending of that was
Yeah.
But the scares during
Yeah.
the movie were good. I
Yeah, there was good scares, but the story was just kind of like,
and the The
Have you seen
Winchester.
that shit,
That's the
Sal?
Winchester. I saw
Which
another
one?
trailer.
Lights Out.
Lights Out.
No, I haven't.
No.
That's good. I saw another trailer for Winchester. I don't know that I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, it's very different. I actually looked online and looked up the history of that house.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting.
Really?
what went
Yeah.
on there.
We should do that for one of our podcasts. Is go to one of the local like haunted places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Newburgh Inn. We could go have dinner and like
Is that the closest? Probably.
yeah.
Yeah, Quiet Place is moved up till April.
The Sun Inn is supposed to be haunted.
April
Is it?
6th.
And Hotel Bethlehem.
Is it? I didn't know the Hotel Bethlehem was.
Wow.
Yeah, the Hotel Bethlehem. It was on one of the shows on the Travel Channel. Hotel Bethlehem and the Sun Inn. They visited both of those.
And the other thing that trailer just came out for was the Hulu series Castle Rock.
Oh yeah.
The Stephen King, J.J. Abrams.
So Stephen King signed that like deal with Netflix. So,
Yeah.
but this isn't
but
like
this is a TV series instead of movie.
No, that's the town Needful thing.
so this
also
is his
took place, right?
second, right? This
yeah,
is
that's his entertainment company too. I think right.
Castle
Yeah.
Rock,
Castle.
yeah, and it's the town that I believe he said he grew up in. So,
Oh, okay, so that's why.
So all his stories actually, even Salem's Lot, all of them connect to
Maine.
the town of Castle Rock.
Oh, interesting.
So and the TV series is gonna have a touch of all the movies in it. It even features Christine and
Oh, wow.
some other stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
the trailer looked pretty good, and it was
Yeah.
funny when you sent that out. I was like, I just saw that. Like,
Yep.
was it during the Super Bowl or what? No, it could have been during the Super Bowl.
I don't think so.
It was that weekend
Yeah.
that I saw it.
It popped up on my news feed on Facebook, and then I'm like, oh, there it is, because I heard them
Yeah,
talking
I
about it
saw
some
it
time
pop
ago.
up on my newsfeed as
Yeah.
well. Yep.
So they have that TV. He has 2 series now on Hulu. He has the Kennedy thing, the 1960,
Right, yeah, yeah.
whatever, which is really good.
Mhm.
Definitely worth watching. It's not horror, but it's good.
Yeah,
And then now Castle Rock on there. So he's got the movies on Netflix and miniseries and a TV show on Hulu.
So that'd be cool if the little store from Needful Things
Yeah.
showed up,
Yeah.
right?
And then the other big horror movie news is Hereditary.
Yeah. It keeps getting good reviews too.
Constantly.
Yep.
Like every review
I know,
I
it's crazy.
see, everyone is saying it is absolutely terrifying.
Yep.
uh,
Well, again, and what grabbed my attention is this one guy. One guy who reviewed it said, "I don't get scared," and that's me. I don't
yeah,
get
same
scared.
here.
Yeah.
Like I don't get scared
Well,
anymore.
and every reviewer, what they're saying is the part that makes it the
But
most
that's what
terrifying.
he said. I don't get scared, but
Yeah, he says the thing that make it most terrifying is how they link it into actual kind of reality type situations. Things that were okay, zombies, far fetched, vampires, far fetched. The stuff that goes on here, it's
It could
supernatural, but it's like
it could happen.
yeah. So they're talking the trailer. You guys got a chance to look at the trailer.
yes,
Trailer looks
they
really
don't.
creepy.
They don't give you much.
No, you don't
They don't
really
give you
understand what it's about, but that little girl is creepy, and it definitely must have something to do with the mom and that dolls and dollhouse that she's
Yes.
making. So I can only imagine what it is, but I'm sure as
And
time goes
And that
on.
was always creepy.
Dolls are
for me.
creepy.
Yeah,
anyway.
dolls, were always
dolls are
for me.
creepy.
My mother had an old antique doll head. I don't know why she kept it, but she
Just
thought
the
it was
head?
funny. Just the head. It
not
was one of
funny.
those where like you turned it and the eyes would like roll
Yeah.
the back of its head. It was the creepiest.
Oh.
I'm like, why do you have this thing?
Well, what was that movie that you and I went to see years ago, and it still imprints in my head?
Dead
It's
Silence?
Dead Silence.
Yeah.
Oh, with
That
with a mannequin, not mannequin.
Yeah.
The
they-
dummies. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was a creepy one.
Yeah.
That's James Wan.
Yeah, James Wan, very good. He does a lot of really good movies, actually.
All of them. Every one of them.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So I'm kind of eager to see this movie. I mean, now with all the hype going on around it and all these movie review sites, even Joe Blow, Hour on the Head, they all had Bloody Disgusting. They all had a thing in there going, blows our minds.
So now we're worried about it not. You think it'll go mainstream, or do you think it has to be?
Definitely. They have a trailer out now, and the way I
Okay.
understand it, it originally was going to be like art house independent
Yeah, that's
film,
what I was worried
but
about.
it's picked up for major distribution, so it's going to be in all the theaters. So
Perfect.
apparently, it's the movie.
Field trip.
Yeah, apparently it's
Field trip.
the movie of Sundance. Like it's the movie that everybody's talking about. So that much, just
Then,
the hype is intense. over
Release
that.
date to be determined still, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but the hype is, come on, man. I mean, I can't imagine that they're not going to sell a ton of tickets for this movie just because the hype is ridiculous.
Was it 824 that picked it up?
Yeah, A24. Yeah,
What is-
They I don't know if you've ever seen, but they make really good horror, like indie horror.
a lot of
movies.
them. Yeah,
Well, and
they
I think
picked up
maybe
a lot.
they're-
It Follows, I think, was an A24.
that was a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
an A24.
And I think with the success of it when it was in the theater, I think they're taking more chances on like releasing horror movies to greater audiences.
Oh, for a while there, it seems like horror movies were far and few between. They weren't really making a lot of money off of them, so they started cutting back. It's been like all superhero movies and all.
It's the same thing for me every time. Is because you make
zombie-
horror movies, you make the comic book movies to play towards the PG-13 crowd. People like us are the ones who have money to go to movies, but I'm not going to go to a movie theater to pay money to see a movie that's crap.
Well, the reason, and let me tell you, the real reason that's going on with these shitty PG-13 movies is China. Because you think we have the money and we're going to buy movies. They have billions of people buying movies. And China only lets in a certain number of American films a year. So every film is competing to get into China.
Can't they just edit it down then? Like, I mean,
They don't. Why bother? They're just going to make a movie that's made for China. And if you look at all the movie critics, they'll talk about Independence Day Part 2 was made for China. That's why there's poopy jokes and pee-pee jokes in it that are just dumb. Because in China, those are okay.
Pooping
And some of the
movie.
cursing and all the other stuff is not allowed. So if you have cursing or you have blood and guts and stuff like that,
boobies.
it's not allowed in China. So that is a major miss market. So when you have movies that are the formula films that are made by executives and not really by producers, those are made for China. And it's because they make so much money.
yeah.
It could be the shittiest American movie ever.
Independence Day.
And if it gets picked to go to China,
Baywatch.
right? If it gets picked to go to China, they're going to make their money back threefold, if not more. So, and that's unfortunate because it's destroying. If you ask me, it's destroying the American film
Yeah,
industry.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to go to see in the theater. You know, I used to love going to the movies, especially in the summer when the blockbusters would all come out.
Yep.
Like I used to love going to movies. Now I'm
Yep.
like, I don't want to see that.
So there was a long drought of rated R movies, a long drought of slasher and gore films, and luckily, I think because, and I know everyone keeps saying it, Deadpool changed the market
Yeah,
because prior to that,
no one's going to pay to see.
rated R.
Yeah, Deadpool's in
Kids
it.
aren't
Superhero?
Yeah, rated R is superhero, and it pulled it off to the point where they said, okay, we're gonna do this now with Wolverine, and again, another fantastic movie. No holds barred. Let the gore happen. Wolverine should have always been gore,
Right.
and when they finally had it, it was a fantastic movie. They did a great job. The gore was sometimes over the top, but it was like, you know what? I'm tired of watching XMEN and Wolverine slashing and dicing and there's no blood. It's like, well,
It's like the old G.I. Joe cartoon.
yeah, it was dumb.
Everyone's shooting everybody, but no one's dying.
Yeah, yeah. So I think because of Deadpool, and then because of Logan, I think we're gonna see some better movies coming out. Hopefully,
Yay.
no more of this China market. And think of it. Look how much money Deadpool made. Like Deadpool was not allowed into China, but it still pulled off the $1 billion mark.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Wolverine now, and all these superhero movies. I know a lot of people hate them, but I love them. I love the superhero movies because when I was a kid, every time they tried to make a superhero movie, it sucked.
They're horrible.
It was horrible.
Oh, they were really
The
bad.
Remember the
special
70s
effects
Spider-Man,
weren't ready. Oh
TV
my
show?
God.
Even
Oh my
the
God.
even the cartoons when we were kids.
There were some decent ones, though.
Yeah.
Justice League, those were so bad though. I mean,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
just
The
not
only
good.
cartoons that I really liked from my childhood of those
I like the
things
Justice League
was
because
the
they had
original
bad guys.
X-Men cartoon series on Fox.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
It was good with Jubilee and all
Did
that.
you like the Justice League? No.
No, it was too kiddie. Too
I liked Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
No. And now Disney XD has all of this Marvel cartoons now.
Are they decent?
Yeah, Spider-Man is decent. The Avengers cartoon is pretty good. They include, characters that aren't in the TV or in the movies. So, and I'm excited for the Avengers. Infinity War.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty good too. The trailer that they showed during the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, that was looks nice.
Yeah, they're finally showing off some new stuff, and I'm very excited for that. And the trailer for Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah,
That was pretty impressive too. Yeah, so hopefully this summer we'll have a bunch of horror movies to go to.
Insidious.
Yeah, the new one.
Check.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
there's
there's,
pretty good too.
the prequel to
The Nun.
The Nun looks like it's going to be fantastic.
The Purge, which is horror. The original Purge was like a home invasion horror, but then
Yeah.
it kind of switched it up a little bit and became more of like a thriller kind of.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
but I liked that series.
have you heard anything of the reboot of not the reboot, but it's like the beginning. They made like a prequel for damn it. What's the one where it's like a game and you wind up getting killed and whatever?
The Running Man.
No. It's it's the slasher movie Saw.
Oh, okay.
So
oh
they have
yeah,
that, like,
Jigsaw.
prequel Jigsaw.
Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked
Yeah.
it.
It's like
I
did
thought
you
it was
see
good.
it?
We went to the theater and saw
I
it.
didn't see it.
We
so.
Chris
Kim and I-
loves the Saw.
Kim
movies.
and I are big Saw fans.
My daughter loves Saw too.
And I thought it was great how they were always able to like tie them all together. Like you're like, okay, how is this one going to tie into the rest of them? There's no way, and they figure out a way to do it. And
Okay.
even in this one, Jigsaw, I don't want to give it away, but because my wife was confused at the end, and my daughter was trying to explain it to her the whole ride home, and she still didn't understand. But it was good. I liked it.
Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna have to watch that then. I saw the preview a bunch of times. I'm like,
Well, yeah, because it's been like what, probably like 8-9 years since the last one.
yeah.
And he's been dead for the last two,
Yeah.
last two, I think. So, it's interesting. It's a good twist.
Yeah. Yeah. I had them on DVD because I watched the first 3 I had on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter like picked them out one day and I go, are you sure you want to watch those? And she's like, yeah, and she loves them. So that's what got her into the horror movies. That and I used to make her watch Friday the 13th movies all the time.
Yeah.
And then one last thing I'm going to talk about, and that is the Monster Breeder game.
Oh yeah, I saw you send it last night, and I just looked at it real quick. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell is it? So today I was really busy all day, but at my lunch break I took like 20 minutes to
I
eat
did
lunch
the
today,
same thing.
and I just So I hit music off, and then I'm just like, okay,
I played it with the music on.
and then I was like, all right, I'm just hitting the arrows. And
Yeah.
Oh, I found Freddy Krueger. Nice. Oh, he's on Elm Street. Go figure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I captured him, and I captured a ghost, and then I bred them together and had like a ghost Kruger, or I forget what it was.
Yeah, at some point in the game, I had like 30 monsters and multiple
wow.
breeds. I had the Terminator, I had the Predator, I had Chupacabra.
I tried to capture the creature from the Black Lagoon, but I didn't have the proper tools.
Well, that's the thing is it's hard to make money because what happens is you sell a bunch of things and then you get a bigger truck first because you can't get King Kong or Godzilla unless you have the bigger vehicles. So you get the bigger vehicles, then you get the water. You got to go and buy the water stuff too, so you can get the creature of the Black Lagoon, and there was a couple other water
flying
creatures.
stuff then too. You have to catch like special flying stuff.
Yeah. So, but what happens is twice during playing the game, I got to a point where if you don't ask everyone if they're a cop, someone just, one of them goes, "Oh, I'm a cop," and then all of a sudden it says the cops have confiscated all of your monsters and all of your money, and it's like, boo hoo, you have to start over.
Is there a law against breeding monsters? I mean, I'd like
Well,
to
that's
see.
the thing is you have to get $10,000 in the game to buy the license for breeding monsters.
Oh,
So they have the license in the store there.
Wow.
But you have to have $10,000.
who the hell thought of this game? Like,
It's 3 kids actually.
Really?
And the reason why I found it is there was I forget the website, but there was a website where I read like nerdy stuff on it, and they were like, "Oh, you got to play this game. It's written by these kids. It's a web game, and it's really simple. And it's written in JavaScript." And I was like, "Wow, that is really cool."
yeah, it's kind of weird because like when you first like look at it, you're like, what the hell is this? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm like,
Right?
oh, I found one. Next thing I know, like 15 minutes went by. I'm like, I can't believe I'm into this game because there's no graphics really.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like it reminds me of the old Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
text games that I had for like
Yeah.
the Commodore. So you just left, right, up, down, and you can play from the keyboard. So you don't even have to touch the screen. You can use the arrow keys, and escape will take you back to your truck. The number 1 will take you to, like, if you're at a bridge, you hit number 1, it'll take you into the bridge, then you can move around. When you go into houses or you go into the graveyard or, and it keeps, I thought it was like a small game, but it kept expanding.
Wow.
There was a city, then the suburbs, and then there was farms, and there was a
Then there was
desert, and then there was a jungle, and there was the
There
woods.
was the castle in the woods.
Yeah, there was a castle in the woods. Then there was a house, and then there's in the suburbs there's houses with cul-de-sacs. So that's where you catch Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger.
'Cause that's
Freddy
where
Krueger
they're-
on Elm Street.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and then I'm like, what name? When you breed two things, I'm like, what is the name they're gonna come up with? I don't know if you caught this yet, but the Cookie Monster I also caught.
No.
Yes,
Where the
Cookie
hell-
Monster was in there too.
Was he in the grocery store?
No, he was in the woods.
Okay.
So it's at the top right-hand side of the woods, because on the left side it says you're in a jungle area, and then you go to the top right-hand side, and I caught Cookie Monster.
Wow.
Nice.
And then I bred Cookie Monster with Chupacabra, and it came out, it was Cookie Cabra. And I was like, this is like the best.
Oh, Cookie Cabra.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah. So, and then I don't know if you ever did, talk to the monsters. So
No.
when you go back into your monster stables, you can
yeah.
click on a monster, and there's an option that says talk to the monster, and they say like dumb stuff. It's just kind of funny to mess around with.
I think it would be kind of funny if, like, you
And he goes, "Me like cookies."
like like after you bred some of them, because when you think about breeding some of them together, like it's an
That doesn't make
abomination.
your work.
They
Yeah.
should have some of them be like, kill me, kill me. Existence is pain. Like, oh my God, what the hell is this thing? What did I do? I'm
Yeah.
playing God with these monsters.
Yeah. Yeah. But the funny thing is, even if you ask everyone if they're a cop, you could still get rated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I thought they had to tell you.
they do tell you.
Oh,
But the one guy, after he told you, I'm not a cop, or they said something like, oh, well, I'll call back later, and then all of a sudden I get rated and I lost everything. So
that's funny.
yeah, I think the game kind of gets tired of you asking if everyone's a cop, and then eventually they smack you anyway.
I just thought it was odd that one of the things I could do is ask if they're a cop. I'm like, sure. Hey, are you a cop?
Yeah, so you didn't get to see why you have to ask.
No.
'Cause I never asked if they were a cop, and then all of a sudden I got rated. I'm like, all right, I better ask everyone. If
I
they're
just
a cop.
asked them because it was an option.
Yeah. So
So that reminds me, I told you, I sent you guys that game that I just happened to stumble upon in the Xbox games. Every once in a while, I'll just scroll through, and because there's a lot of independent games that
that are
I've played a
good.
couple that are fun.
Yeah.
And this one was called Slash House, or I forget, I don't remember what off the top of my head, but yeah, it's like a puzzle game. But you start out as Michael Myers apparently, but as the game progresses, you unlock other monsters, so you can play as other monsters. And basically, they put you in this little like maze, and you got to find your way through and kill the teens, and then find the portal to hell to get from one scene to the next scene. Some of them there's cops. Some of them, like the two of the ones I've done, you have to find your way out of the puzzle in 7 steps. So you have to kill,
Wow.
and certain things, like certain teens, you scare them and they run one way. So if they run the wrong way, then you're not gonna be able to escape, and it's pretty cool. And then in between each cutscene, you have like a they have like the little like thing at the bottom. If you hit the button just as the arrow's in the red, you get like an ultra kill, and it just shows them like slice off the head. And they're little 8-bit characters, so it's like a blockhead, almost like Minecraft characters. But it's it's kind of fun. I'm only in like the second, and it's funny when you finish. Like the first disc was called Slashaway or something like that.
Yeah.
Then the second one is Return to Slashaway Camp. Then and then they show them as like little VHS tapes on a shelf.
Nice.
And you can go back to them, and it's pretty fun. I think it cost me like $12. Like, it was like
Nice. Excellent. Cool.
something to kill some time.
We actually did an hour.
Woohoo!
Cool. I am watching The Alienist.
Oh, I'm taping